A leased out his penthouse condominium unit to B. Unfortunately, A figured in an accident and perished, leaving his son C as his sole heir. Subsequently, C demanded that B vacate the premises by noon of the following day. B refused, showing C the duly executed lease agreement between her and A. B claimed that she has a right to remain in the unit since the term of the lease was yet to expire. C countered that he had nothing to do with the lease contract, as it was executed between his father and B, and therefore does not bind him. Is C correct? Reasons. C is not correct. The lease agreement executed by A and B remains binding even after A's death, and C, as A's heir, is bound by its terms. In Estate of Orlando Lenato versus Eduardo Lenato et al., 2009, the Supreme Court said, under Article 1311 of the Civil Code, the heirs are bound by the contracts entered into by their predecessors in interest, except when the rights and obligations therein are not transmissible by their nature, by stipulation or by provision of law. A contract of lease is, therefore, generally transmissible to the heirs of the lessor or lessee. It involves a property right, and as such, the death of a party does not excuse non-performance of the contract. The rights and obligations pass to the heirs of the deceased, and the heir of the deceased lessor is bound to respect the period of the lease. In this case, A validly executed a lease contract with B for the use of the condominium unit. Upon A's death, his heir C succeeded to his rights and obligations under the contract. The lease is not rendered void by A's death because it is transmissible by nature and by law. Consequently, B is entitled to remain in the premises until the expiration of the agreed lease period, subject to the terms of the contract. C, stepping into the shoes of A as lessor, is bound to honor the lease and cannot unilaterally eject B on the ground that he was not a party to the contract. Therefore, C is not correct. The lease agreement between A and B remains valid and binding notwithstanding A's death. As heir, C is bound by its terms and must respect B's right to occupy the leased unit until the lease expires.